Welcome, my friend. Today we're going to close one of the most frustrating gaps in the creator world, the gap between attention and income. If you've ever had a post do well, people comment, people DM you, people say that it helped them out, but nobody's actually buying from you, then this is going to connect immediately because what you're experiencing is not random, it's structural. And once you see it, you can fix it. So I'm sure you're not starting from zero. You've been showing up, you've been creating, you've been consistent. You probably had a moment where things felt like they were working. Maybe a post hit, maybe someone reached out, maybe you even had a few sales at one point. So this isn't about potential. You actually have that. The frustration is your results don't match your effort. And this creates a very specific feeling, like you're close, but something isn't clicking. And this part matters because the real frustration isn't just, I'm not making enough money. It's deeper than that. It's, why does my audience care but not convert? That question creates doubt. It creates second guessing. And over time, it creates the quieter fear, am I wasting my time? If you've ever felt that, you're not alone. And what makes this especially frustrating is that from the outside, it looks like it should be working. You're doing what people say to do. You're showing up. You're helping people. You're getting feedback. So logically, it feels like results should follow, but they don't. And that gap between what should be happening and what is happening is what creates the constant tension. And over time, this creates a hidden cost. You hesitate more. You second guess more. You start questioning your direction. And eventually, you either slow down or you start jumping from one thing to another. Not because you're unfocused, but because you're trying to find something that finally works. You're busy, you're fairly consistent, and yet progress feels unpredictable. Some weeks feel productive, other weeks feel like you're just reaching to whatever comes up. And underneath all of it, there's this question that never fully goes away. Am I actually building something, or am I just staying busy? That's the question, and that's the turning point because today we're going to answer that. This is specifically for creators who have an audience, post consistently, get engagement, comments, DMs, responses, but don't have predictable revenue yet. This is not for beginners, and it's not for people who just want motivation. This is for people who are already trying but want structure. If that's you, you're exactly who this was built for. Now, I want to say something clearly because this is what most people go wrong. You're not failing because you're lazy. You're not failing because you lack talent. You're not failing because you're too early. Most creators in your position are actually doing a lot of things right, which is why feels so frustrating. Because when effort is high but results are inconsistent, it doesn't feel like a motivation problem. It feels like something is off. Let me describe a pattern you'll instantly recognize. You take action, you post something, you respond to comments, you tweak your content, you maybe build something small, then the next day, you do it again. There's action, action, action. But here's the issue. Nothing really accumulates. Things get done, but they don't stack. Does that feel familiar? Real progress is a specific feeling. Over time, things should feel slightly easier, not harder. You should feel like you have more leverage, not more pressure, and you should have a sense of moment, even if growth is slow, if effort keeps increasing, but clarity doesn't. Something is off. And when this feeling shows up, most creators respond the same way. They try harder, they post more, they buy more tools, they save more content, they add more inputs, hoping something will finally click. But here's the truth most people never hear. More effort does not fix a structural problem. More content does not fix a structural problem. And more tools do not fix a structural problem. In fact, they usually make it worse because now you're doing more without direction. If effort was the problem, you would already be where you want to be. You'd already be putting in the effort. The real issue is this: effort without structure does not compound. And until structure is in place, everything feels harder than it should. That's where the shift happens. The real issue is something very simple, but very powerful. It's activity without order. Most creators are doing the right things in the wrong sequence, and sequence matters more than intensity. So the internet tells you, people that you're following on the internet tell you to post more, be more consistent, keep going. And none of that is actually wrong, but it's incomplete because consistency applied in the wrong structure just makes you consistently frustrated. Imagine trying to build a house without a blueprint. You show up every day, you work hard. One day you pour concrete, another day you paint the walls, another day you buy furniture. You're busy, but nothing fits together. That's what most creator businesses look like. Not because people are careless, but because no one gave them a blueprint. And if you want to share something, now listen, I'm going to share something personal here because I didn't understand this at first either. I was in the online fitness space trying to build something as a coach. And I did what most people do. I invested in coaching, courses, programs, mentorship. At one point, I had spent over $15,000 on coaching and programs, and individually, a lot of that was actually good. There were strategies, tactics, ideas that made sense, but there was a problem. None of it actually gave me a system. I had pieces, but nothing was really connected. I didn't know what to prioritize. I didn't know what to do next, and every time I tried to apply something, it felt like starting over. And that's when it clicked for me. The problem wasn't effort, it wasn't information, it was structure. I didn't need more ideas, I needed something that organized everything into a system I could actually execute. This is why more information doesn't fix this. Information gives you options. But what do you actually need is direction. Direction answers what matters right now, what comes next, what can wait. And once you have direction, everything becomes simpler. Three things usually happen. First, burnout, because everything feels important. Second is second guessing, because you don't know if you're focusing on the right thing. And third is stalled revenue, because money is lagging indicator of structure. So even when you're working, it just doesn't translate. This is the part I want you to really hear. Most creators don't have a business yet. They have effort, and effort matters, but effort alone does not create predictable results. Businesses are built on systems, and systems are built on structure. The shift that changes everything is simple. You stop asking, "What should I do?" and you start asking, "What should I do next?" That one thing is the beginning of structure. So now you've built the foundation. Here's the shift that changes everything. You don't have a traffic problem. You don't have you do have a structure problem. Most creators believe that they need more followers, more reach, more engagement. But if the structure is the problem, more traffic just creates more frustration. Does that make sense? Because if you misdiagnose the problem, you chase the wrong solution. You spend months trying to grow when the real issue is conversion. You spend time creating more content when the real issue is clarity. And that's why so many creators feel stuck. They're solving the wrong problem. This explains why something that's confusing almost everyone. So you can post content daily, get engagement, receive DMs, help people, and still not earn predictable revenue. Because effort does not create revenue, structure creates revenue. Attention and income are not the same thing. Attention is created by interest. Revenue is created by clarity. If your audience is interested but not buying, it means something is missing in the structure, not in your effort. You can have hundreds of likes, thousands of views, dozens of comments, and still $0 because engagement is not buying interest. People engage when they're interested. People buy when they understand the transformation. Does that make sense? Your audience doesn't buy, not because they don't care, but because they don't understand what you solve, who it's for, why it matters, what happens if they don't act. That's not a traffic issue. That's a clarity issue. When structure is in place, your audience understands what to do. Your value becomes obvious. Your offers become easy to say yes to, and revenue becomes predictable. Without structure, attention just floats around you, but never organizes into decisions. Now here's the part that should feel relieving. This is what actually makes it simpler than it seems. You don't need 20 strategies. You don't need a complicated funnel. You don't need to go viral. You only need 3 things. Every creator who turns attention into income has these 3 mechanisms working: offer clarity, a sales system, a launch sequence. That's it. If these 3 are aligned, revenue becomes straightforward. Can you see how this simplifies things? These aren't random. They represent the full path from attention to income. If even one of these is missing, the system breaks. You can have attention, but no offer clarity, you're not going to get any sales. You can have an offer, but no system, and that's going to produce inconsistent sales. You can have both, but no sequence, and that's going to create no momentum. All 3 have to work together. Here's a quick question. Just think about this for a second. Which of these 3 do you feel is missing for you right now? The first piece is offer clarity. This is where most creators struggle the most. Your audience follows you because you're interesting, but they only buy when they understand what problem you solve, who you help, and what transformation you provide. So this offer clarity turns attention into intent. Without offer clarity, you're missing, so your content feels scattered, your messaging feels inconsistent, and your audience doesn't know what you actually do. And then selling feels uncomfortable because you're not fully clear for yourself. With offer clarity, there's stronger messaging, your audience recognizes your value, your authority increases, and selling becomes simpler because everything makes sense. Let's look at what this looks like. For example, two creators can have the exact same audience size. One is vague about what they offer, the other is extremely clear. The first person gets engagement, the second gets buyers. Not because they're more talented, but because their audience understands what to do next. That's the difference clarity creates. The second piece is your sales system. It's not a complicated funnel. It's a simple, repeatable way to present your offer, position your offer, and invite people to the sale. Without a system, sales feel random. With a system, sales feel predictable. When you structure it right, selling doesn't feel pushy. It feels like helping people because you're connecting the right person to the right solution. Wouldn't that feel better to sell like that? The third piece in your sequence is the sequence. What you do first, what you do next, how you build momentum. Because in business, the right steps in the wrong order still fail. You don't need more tactics. You need the right order. First, you need to clarify your offer, position your value, invite people to the sale, build traction, stabilize revenue. When the sequence is right, everything becomes doable. And this is the part most creators never hear. Everything holding you back right now is fixable. You don't need more time. You don't need a bigger audience. You don't need a breakthrough idea. You just need structure. And structure can be installed. What you like to see how this actually works? I want you to answer this question for a second. Which of these do you feel is missing for you right now? All right. So now everything we talked about is starting to connect for you. You never lack effort. You never lack ability. You never lack potential. You simply lack structure. And once you see that, the stops feeling confusing and starts feeling solvable. Now here's where most creators get stuck. Even after understanding this, they still don't know what to do next because knowing what's missing is not the same as having a system to fix it. This is where most solutions actually fail. People realize that they need structure and they go out and try to find it. They buy courses, they try new tools, they get advice, but almost all of them share the same problem. They give you more information, but they don't organize your business for you. They don't tell you what's possible, but not what to do next. So you end up with more ideas, but the same amount of confusion. Courses don't tell you what to do next exactly. Tools don't tell you what to do next. Advice doesn't usually tell you what to do next. They already assume you already understand how everything fits together, but most people actually don't. When you have too many options and no clear priority, overwhelm is the natural result. And overwhelmed people don't execute consistently. They hesitate, they second guess, they stall. And this is how people get stuck in consumption mode, watching, learning, saving. It feels productive, but nothing structural changes. And without structure, nothing compounds. So what's missing is orchestration, something that sits above everything else and tells you how it all fits together. Let me show you what this looks like in a real life example. Let's call the creator Alex. Alex is smart. Alex is consistent. Alex is doing everything people should do. Alex posts regularly. There's an audience, there's engagement, there's even been some income before. But there's no system. Every week starts with the same question. What should I focus on right now? So Alex does what most motivated people do. He buys a course, tries a new tool, changes strategy. For a short time there's clarity, then it fades. Temporary clarity, followed by long-term confusion. Alex ends up knowing a little bit about everything, but not having a system for anything, and that's where the momentum dies. Then something changes. Alex stops asking, what should I learn next, and starts asking, what does my business need right now? Instead of more advice, Alex gets structure, clear direction, clear order, clear execution. No motivation, no skill, no decision fatigue appears, and Alex no longer wonders what to do. It's obvious. This is the part that matters the most. Same person, same effort, completely different results, because structure was introduced. And this isn't about Alex. It's about what happens when your effort finally has a system to run through. If you've ever felt like what you're doing is a lot, but building very little, this is why. And this isn't theoretical. We've seen creators take this exact shift and within 30 to 60 days move from inconsistent effort to clear offers and actual revenue starting to come in. Not because they work harder, but because they finally had structure. And the reason that this works is actually very simple. When people finally know what they're building, why it matters, and what to do next, they stop hesitating. And when hesitation disappears, execution increases. When execution increases, results follow. When structure is in place, courses make more sense. Tools become useful. Advice becomes actionable. Because now everything has context. This is where the idea of the operating system comes in. An operating system doesn't replace tools. It decides when to use them. It organizes your effort and it turns decisions into execution. An operating system does three things. It decides what matters, it organizes what comes next, and it guides execution. That's it. But that changes everything. Let's look at the old way. You open your laptop, you think about what to do, you weigh options, you second guess, and your energy is gone before any real work even starts. Now with the new way, you open your dashboard, you see your priority, and you execute. No dabbing, or no debating, no guessing, just movement, because you have a clear execution path. The core function of the system is simple. Decide once, execute many times, because most people don't struggle with action, they struggle with the decisions. A real system also works in phases. 30 days for the foundation, 60 days for consistency, 90 days to scale. Not everything matters at once, and that's what prevents overwhelm. Each phase has a clear goal, a limited number of tasks, and a defined outcome, so you always know when you're making progress. You're not asking, what should I do? You're executing what's already decided, and that's where momentum comes in. This is also where AI fits properly, not to tell you what business to build, but to help you execute once decisions are made and structure is decided. AI assists you. One of the biggest changes people notice is psychological. Less pressure, more confidence, because you're not wondering if you're wasting all your time. Take tasks get completed, phases get finished, momentum builds, and for the first time you feel like you're actually building something real. So now the question becomes practical. What does this actually look like in real life? And how do you install this structure without starting over? So far we've talked about structure conceptually. Now let's bring this down to reality. What does this actually look like when you sit down to work? Because this only matters if it changes your day to day. Before structure, you open your laptop and you think, what should I work on? Should I post? Should I build something? Should I learn something? And that's decision making, draining your energy before you even start. After structure, you open your dashboard, you see exactly what matters, and you execute. No guessing, no debating, just progress. This is the difference between managing your business in your head and running your business through a system. One creates stress and the other creates momentum. At this point, you probably feel it, whether this is a missing piece or not, because if you've been doing the work and not seeing it translate, then structure isn't just helpful, it's actually required. So the real question becomes, what installs this structure without overwhelming you, without rebuilding everything, and without more confusion? This is exactly what Business Builder OS was designed to do. It installs structure into your business, so your effort finally compounds. Business Builder OS is a guided execution system for creators and solopreneurs. It does not teach you theory, it does not overwhelm your opinions, It gives you structure and tells you exactly what to do next. This is important. This is not a course. You're not getting hundreds of hours of videos to watch. This is not automation. It doesn't replace you, and it's definitely not hype. This is structure. It takes everything we've talked about today and turns it into execution. So you understand, instead of wondering what to do, you follow a system that already knows the sequence. It starts with simple onboarding. You answer a few questions about your situation, your audience, your platform, your goals, your time, and from that, the system understands where you are. Then it generates your roadmap, a clear 30, 60, 90-day plan, not a list of ideas, a sequence, what to do first, what to do next, and what can wait. Each phase gives you specific tasks, not vague advice like work on marketing, actual execution steps. So when you sit down to do your work, you know exactly what matters. And when it's time to execute, you're not starting from scratch. You're guided through it. No blank pages, no guessing, just execution. You can see your progress. Tasks get completed, phases finished, momentum building, and the visibility changes everything. At the end of the day, you're not buying software. You're buying clarity, order, momentum, without needing to force it. This replaces guessing, second guessing, overthinking, random execution, inconsistent income cycles. It removes the chaos. And importantly, this works with what you already have, your tools, your skills, your audience. So structure doesn't replace those, it makes them work. Most products are built to be consumed. This is built to be used. The value doesn't come from watching, it comes from executing. I want to be clear about expectations. This does not build your entire business for you. What it does is removes confusion, so your effort finally produces results. If all you did with this was get complete clarity on what to do next, would that be valuable? Most people say yes immediately, because clarity is what most people are missing. But what if it also helped you create a clear offer that people actually want to buy? Would that be valuable? And what if it also gave you a system to sell naturally without feeling pushy and without guessing what to say? Would that be valuable? And what if it also gave you a step-by-step launch plan so you know exactly how to generate your first consistent revenue? Would that be valuable? This is exactly what Business Builder OS gives you. A complete system that installs, offer clarity, a sales system, a launch sequence, all in the right order. And beyond that, we added additional layers to remove every roadblock creators face. Because knowing what to do is one thing, executing with confidence is another. So we built an additional layer to remove the exact points where most people get stuck. These aren't random add-ons. Each one exists for a specific reason: to eliminate hesitation, to increase speed, to make execution easier, so you don't fall off the track halfway through. So let's break down exactly what you're getting and how each piece removes a specific obstacle. When you step back and look at everything together, the full structure, system, the execution, the clarity it creates, the real world value of this is easily over $13,000. But you're not going to pay anything close to that. The full Business Builder OS system is available for today for introductory offer. We have actually two different price points, and you can check that out by clicking the link below. But before we go any further, at this point, you can decide, because if structure is the missing piece, this then solves it. You know that, but we didn't stop there. The first roadblock is, I don't know what to sell. So this solves that immediately. You'll be able to identify a monetizable problem, choose the right offer direction, and validate your idea before you build it. So instead of guessing, you're deciding with clarity. Instead of spending weeks overthinking, you can walk in unclear and walk out with a validated direction in about 20 minutes, maybe less. The second roadblock is, I don't know what to do first. So this gives you a clear 30-day roadmap. What step-by-step execution, so you know exactly how to generate revenue. No guessing, no random steps, just a clear path from ideas to actual income. The third roadblock is, I don't want to feel pushy. So this gives you a natural DM flows, conversation-based selling, simple framework. So selling feels aligned, not forced. When everything is clear, selling stops feeling uncomfortable and starts feeling like helping the right person make the right decision. The fourth roadblock is, what if nobody buys? So this gives you a system to generate your first 10 sales intentionally. Because once sales start, everything changes. Confidence increases, clarity improves, momentum builds. This solves the hidden problem, I don't feel like a real business yet. You can clarify your positioning, strengthen your messaging, and communicate like someone people would pay. So you understand that your audience doesn't just engage, they start to trust you and buy from you. This is where the shift happens from I create content to I run a business. And finally, you get direct feedback, so you're not guessing what to fix. You know exactly what to adjust and how to improve fast. This compresses months of trial and error into days. That's where real acceleration comes from. Now let's put this all together. So let's take a step back for a second. Here's everything that you're getting. The full Business Builder OS system, plus the offer decision sprint, the 0 to 10K launch map, sales without being salesy, first 10 sales playbook, creator authority system, and the personal reviews. It's all designed to do one thing: turn your effort into predictable revenue. Now, I know these bonuses are already amazing on their own, but I'm building something bigger, a whole ecosystem of software designed to get you real results for the long term. And I'm going to give you access to all of this software where there's real paying users using them right now. So for instance, you're going to get a pro account to Webically, which will allow you to quickly create high converting pages that you can use in your social media bios to convert your social media audience into actual business funnel without any tech skills needed. And you can build these pages even on your cell phone. You'll also get a Trackly Pro account, which will allow you to track all your links and actually know where your customers and leads are coming from, so you're not blind and not knowing where your customers are coming from. You'll also get Toolically Pro account for unlimited use of over 149 AI tools for your business. All kinds of great tools in here to get results faster, tools for a lot of different things that are very useful for business. Plus, we're working on some really great traffic tools and other tools that you'll get pro access to as well, which I'm really excited about. So at this point, you already know which path leads forward. You can keep trying to put the pieces together, or you can follow a system that already works. You're buying back time, focus, clarity, momentum, things that are hardest to maintain without structure. And if I want this to feel completely safe for you, so here's the guarantee. If you go through the system and you don't gain clarity on your offer, your direction, and what to do next, you can get your full money back. You're not risking money here. You're testing whether clarity changes everything. Three simple systems. Clarity fades, delay cost income, and the longer you operate without structure, the more confusion becomes your default. And because there's personal review involved, there will be limited spots available, and once they're full, they're full. I will have no more time to dedicate the amount of dedication that I want to give to each customer. So I'm sure you can understand that and see why there's limited availability here. Now let's talk about some common questions. A common question is this for me? If you have attention, if you're consistent, and if you feel like you're almost there, then yes, this is for you. But what if my audience is too small? That's actually not the issue. Clarity converts, not the size of your audience. I've had small audience and get sales from that small audience. If you're thinking, I don't want to be salesy, you won't be as long as you follow our system, because the structure is right, then selling will feel natural when you have the right system. If you're still thinking, what if nobody buys? That's exactly why the system exists, because you're not guessing. And I'm sure you're wondering, will this work for me? This is probably the most important question. And the honest answer is, this works if you work the system, because this isn't based on trends, it's based on structure. And structure works when applied consistently. What if I tried before? A lot of people ask this. What if I've already tried programs, courses, strategies, and it didn't work? That's exactly why this exists, because most things give you pieces. This gives you the system to fit those pieces together. What if I don't have time? If you're thinking I don't have the time, this is actually the strongest reason to fix this. Because without structure, you'll keep spending time without getting results from it. Structure allows you to manage your time very well. What if I fail? And you're thinking, what if I do this and it still doesn't work for me? That's why this system is designed the way it is. So you're not guessing. So you're not relying on motivation. So you're not following something that you are actually following something that already works. Let me ask you something honestly. How much has the lack of structure already cost you? Not emotionally, but financially. And how much will it cost you if nothing changes? Just imagine and take a second to picture this. You sit down to do your work, and instead of wondering what to do, you already know. Your offer is clear. Your messaging makes sense. You're not guessing what to build. You're executing a plan. And for the first time, your effort feels like it's leading somewhere. Not randomly, but predictably. And when this happens, a few things change immediately. You stop overthinking. You stop hesitating. You stop starting over, and instead you just finish things. You start building momentum, and that's when results begin to show up. So imagine 30 days from now, you have a clear offer. Your messaging makes sense. You know what to do each day, and you're starting to generate revenue. That's the direction that this is put for you. If this all makes sense, you already know the next step. Join Business Builder OS and install the structure for your business that has been missing, so your effort finally turns into results.